Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my studio. This is Paint with Lovejoy. Thanks so much for joining me today. If this is your first time here, make sure you hit the subscribe button and thanks for joining. You're going to enjoy the process of painting. If you're here for a second or third or fourth time, thanks so much for coming back and checking out another video, but more importantly, thanks for getting creative. So today's painting is geared towards first-time painters. So this is for those of you that have never picked up a brush, never tried painting, or maybe you've done one or two paintings, but you still want to build your comfort level. These are great paintings to kind of help build your confidence. So what you're going to see in the description box below is a link to what I call a supply kit. And in that supply kit are the general supplies that you need to get started painting. So grab what you need, utilize what you have at home, and most importantly, just get into the process of painting sooner rather than later. And this is going to be a lot of fun. So once you've got your supplies, let's go ahead and get started painting. Guys, we got another fun painting for my first time painters. This silhouette trees is going to be a lot of fun. So grab your supplies, head on over to where your setup is, turn on your favorite music, and as always, make sure you take your progress photos. So for today's painting, if you want to switch out the colors on the background, you are more than welcome to do that. We are going to be starting with a kind of a yellow. If you want to make it a little lighter, you can add some white to it. And we're going to kind of hang out in the center of the canvas. So about 4 or 5 inches from the bottom, you can kind of start that line. Does not have to be exact. And we're going to kind of go above and below this line. And again, just kind of filling in that space, using that large flat brush, applying a generous amount of paint because I am using the student grade paint. Now, as we move into the pink, you're going to notice that a little bit of red goes a long way in the white. So I actually recommend that you do opposite of what I did on the video. Start with the white and add the red compared to what I did on the video. And then we're going to go above and below that yellow space, and you can overlap that yellow space and it's going to create a bit of an orange color. That's actually a good thing. So kind of play with where those transition and where you're kind of blending and making a new color. And for those of you on a stretched canvas, when you reach the edges of the canvas, I recommend that you carry the color around the edges, left and right side, top and bottom. That way it just looks nice when you hang it on the wall. So still using that pink in the bottom, and if you have to make your shade of pink a second or third time, do not stress about getting the exact same shade. Some variety in your background is only to your benefit. And again, just kind of using light pressure as the colors blend. You do want to pause the video, take your progress photo, clean your brush really good, and we're going to be moving into kind of a light teal. Again, you can switch out colors if you want to use purple or something different. So again, that white with a little bit of teal, and we're going to kind of create this little aurora line. Again, feel free to make yours unique to what you want or what you envision the aurora lights to be, the northern lights. And same thing here, as you overlap the teal into the purple, you'll create a slight hint of, or the teal into the pink, you'll create a slight hint of purple, but do the same thing. Kind of soften that edge, play with the colors, observe what it's like for the colors to mix. And you're also gaining a lot of information on what it feels like to mix the paint and to have different pressure with your brush. So basically, as my first time in beginner painters, just experiment. I want you to pretend that you're 5 years old, just kind of have fun and get lost in the process of painting. You're doing a great job. All right, so you can let this dry if you want, or you can move right into the black paint. We're going to get that sky in there and a little bit on the bottom of the canvas. And I am kind of being a little more cautious as I come up to that light teal color. And you'll actually notice that I overlap it a little bit. It does create a bit of a grayish shade. Again, just kind of play with bringing these two colors next to each other, what they look like as they blend, and your brain is taking in all that information. So a lot of stuff that you're learning today, especially if this is your first time painting, will make even more sense the next time that you paint. All right, and then go into the bottom. This will be the reflection, the lake on our trees. So just making sure it's reflecting the sky. And again, as you're overlapping those colors, using that light pressure with the brush will help as you kind of blend the two together. And if you are holding your breath, take a deep breath, relax. You're doing a great job. You have just transformed your whole canvas into kind of a nice abstract design. All right, so you can clean that brush, but I am going to recommend that you move down to the medium flat brush, and we're going back in with that direct teal. And I did not let this dry. I'm going right in while the paint is wet. So as you place this dark teal, the straight teal, right on top of the lighter teal, you're getting that experience with the wet on wet blending, and it's going to change the shade a little bit. It's going to change the shade as you overlap the black and even as you overlap the lighter teal color. So just kind of play with that. Again, light pressure, and then every now and then get out of your chair and look at your painting from a distance of 5 to 10 feet away. And again, just assess it from that distance. This is the normal viewing distance for artwork. So kind of getting into that habit while you're creating of looking at it from a distance will only help your progress. All right, so we're going to use white paint, and if you needed to add more to your plate, go right ahead and do that. Same thing, that medium flat brush. My background is still wet, but if yours happens to be dry, you can still do this on top of the drier paint. And we're just kind of creating movement in the sky. So just kind of short, choppy back and forth brush strokes. I am going right on top of the pink, right on top of the teal. Some of the colors are changing, some are not. Again, just kind of play with this. It is going to look totally different once we do the silhouette of the trees. And as you are watching the video and following along, you are strengthening your power of observation as you look to see where I place something on the canvas, and then you mimic that to the best of your ability on your canvas. This is a big part of art, your observation. And the more observant you are in art, the more you're observant in other areas of your life, and that will only be to your benefit. So a lot of stuff you learn in art translates over to life rather nicely. So this is the fun part. We're going to do stars. So you're going to add a lot of water to your plate and then a little bit of pigment. And then notice how I have another brush and I'm kind of tapping the brush that's loaded up with the water and the white paint on there. And you'll see that you get this kind of splatter star effect. And definitely you can do it on the bottom. If you don't like this method, you can actually place little dots for the stars in the sky. But this is just kind of a fun, rather expressive way to add randomized stars to your background. And it kind of, it's just fun. It's very random. All right, so add as many stars as you want to your background. Anything that you want to do, if you want to put a specific constellation or a shooting star in there, go right ahead. I do recommend taking your progress photo, letting this dry, and then move into the black paint. And we're going to kind of put our horizon line right here. We're basically splitting that yellow in half. And above the horizon line will be our trees, and then below it will be our reflection trees and our water lines. Sorry, it took me a minute. All right, so our tree line, we're going above that horizon line and below it, and then we're going to be filling that in with black paint. And again, remember to breathe as you are painting. Sometimes we start to get a little nervous as we move in to put the silhouette design in there. So if you are finding that your brush is kind of shaky as you go to apply your paint, that means you're holding your breath. So if you exhale as you touch the brush to the canvas, that will just kind of help your process. And if yours looks different than mine, that is totally okay. Full permission to make this unique to what you want. So now we're putting kind of the tree trunks in, and basically just using the side of the brush or using that pointy brush, whichever one you feel like it. And you want to go what you do above the horizon line, mimic that right below, because that is going to be our reflection. And if you want more trees or less trees than what I put on here, go right ahead and adjust. All right, you're doing a great job. All right, so now when we add the foliage on the trees, I'm almost holding that brush perpendicular to the canvas and literally just kind of tapping that brush on there. So watch me do one or two trees and just kind of the general shape that this makes. And then again, you're just going to mimic that to the best of your ability on your canvas. If you do want to let this dry and then kind of come back to it, this is a good step that you can do that. You can actually come back and add more. If you prefer to make green trees, green foliage, go right ahead and switch out your color. Just kind of the important thing is kind of holding that brush perpendicular, tapping it against the edge, and just kind of creating this illusion of a nice healthy pine tree. If you want to do a different type tree, if you want to do palm trees or a very specific tree, go right ahead and do that. Like I said earlier, same if you want to change the color and do green foliage, just switch out your color. You also can try an angled brush if you have that, or even a fan brush. You can get a little bit better detail with an angled brush or a fan brush. If you do not have those, do not feel like you have to go out and buy them. Utilize what you have at home, especially in your beginning stages while you're deciding if you enjoy the process of painting. And then as you enjoy it more, then kind of dive into some of the other tools. And I believe you could actually do this finger painting too. So always an option. I encourage all my students to get as creative on a regular basis and as often as possible. Our lives are stressful enough that we do need a bit of a creative outlet, and painting's a good avenue for that. If you find that you like watercolors or colored pencils or even crayons more, doesn't really matter what tool you're using, just find your creative outlets. It makes for more relaxed people, and I want more relaxed people in this world. All right, so not too bad. Go ahead and we're basically going to do the same thing on the reflection below. Same application. If you need to turn your canvas upside down because that makes it a little bit easier for you to do that, go right ahead and change the orientation of your canvas. And again, remember to breathe. And one thing that I try to tell in all the videos and all my students is as you're doing this, you're about 2 feet in front of your canvas, so start getting in the habit of propping your painting up and stepping 5 to 10 feet away and looking at it from that distance. This is the normal viewing distance for most things in life, and especially artwork. So the more that you can kind of incorporate this into your early stages of learning, the more progress you can actually make a little bit faster too. And generally, the nice joke in my class was, everything looks better from a distance. So don't be upset if you like your painting more from that distance compared to 2 feet in front of you. It's just part of life. All right, so looking good. I do recommend after you are done with the black paint to take your progress photo, and then I do want you to fully let it dry because we're going to move to white next, and we'll basically put that horizon line in there again, and then we'll be doing little water lines below that horizon line to give the illusion that we have this reflecting water against this really pretty sky. So, doing great. And I apologize for the difference of the lighting video. That's the difference of me filming during the day or at night with just my lights. So again, moving into that small pointy brush and basically just direct white paint. If you want to use a light blue, you can. And I'm using that middle flat brush. If you want to use the pointy brush, go right ahead and do that. So again, just kind of putting that horizon line on there. I am keeping these pretty calm, a pretty calm length. So my lines are pretty straight, pretty horizontal. If you want a little bit more movement in your lake, feel free to give them a little bit of a wiggle as you make these lines. And they are going right over all the colors below that horizon line, going right over the trees, right over our background colors. And again, when you look at it from this distance, that distance of 5 to 10 feet away, it's going to make more sense. And you're just like, oh, yep, that's a total reflection. So a lot of art is just learning to look at stuff from a new perspective, especially in your beginning stages. So like I said earlier, you can do this with just white. That's all I use in this video. But if you want to add a little more depth to it, maybe use a little bit of a light blue or a medium blue. whatever you feel inclined to do. And another thing I tell all my students is don't wait too long to do your next painting. Try to find that creative outlet on a regular basis. So thanks so much for hanging out with me, and until next time, cheers.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the process of painting, and I hope you're proud of yourself and you like the way that your paintings turned out. I highly recommend that you paint on a regular basis and try a variety of subject matters and you'll kind of find your groove, but it's more about the process and painting multiple times rather than trying to get a perfect painting from your first get-go. So please keep painting. As you're uploading your pictures to social media, please tag me at or hashtag paintwithlovejoy and email me your photos of what you paint. paintwithlovejoy@gmail.com. I love seeing your pictures, and when I post those on social media, it encourages other people that are kind of scared to start painting. It encourages them to give it a try. So your sharing, your feedback really helps encourage others to kind of find the joy of painting as well. When you're ready to kind of step your skills up to your next level, check out my online school, paintwithlovejoy.com, and check out some of my more in-depth courses on there. I will have some intermediate courses as well as some beginner and advanced beginner classes on there. Check out the Paint Your Pet and the Palette Knife class. It's a lot of fun, and they're both pretty good stress relievers. So give those a try. I think that's it. I really am glad that you guys took time out of your day to hang out with me and you got creative. Again, don't wait too long before you get creative again. So until next time, cheers.